In this chapter, we'll be looking at accessing the command line. In Linux, it's imperative that you learn how to utilize the command line interface to most powerfully adapt and control the Linux environment. When logging into a system, one of the first tools you'll want to learn as a system administrator is how to access the command line. Here you can see a system running Red Hat Linux. I'll log in using the student user. Supplying the password and the graphical user interface takes us directly to the desktop. In order to launch the command line interface, we'll utilize a program called Terminal. From our Activities menu, we can find the terminal listed in the sidebar. By clicking Terminal, the window should open. Now that we have access to our terminal, let's understand what the shell itself is. A command line interface is a text-based interaction between you and the operating system. It allows you full control of the environment, as long as you know how to wield it properly. When you launched Terminal, what opened is what is known as a shell in Linux. In particular in Red Hat, the default shell is known as Bash, or the born-again shell. Once the terminal is opened, your shell presents you with a prompt. The shell prompt shown here is one for a regular user. It will end with the $sign to denote where the prompt ends and your commands can begin being entered. When you're running as a super user in Linux shells, the end $sign will be replaced with a pound or hash sign. This denotes that ascended privileges are in usage. The root user is known as our administrative or super user within the Linux environments. By denoting on the prompt this change from a $sign to a hash, you know that you have the proper ascended credentials whenever trying to access more secure or restricted areas of the operating system itself. Here you can see a prompt that is showing the change from the $sign to the pound sign and noting that we are using the super user. The username in this case shows as root. The Bash shell is a powerful way to control your environment and expresses an entire scripting language that you now have access to for controlling and automating tasks. Shell scripting is an evolving skill as you grow in your system administrative journey and will become something highly useful as you wish to do more and more complex tasks within your Linux environment. Now that we've taken a look at the Bash shell, let's see the first few commands that we can experiment with to start growing our skills. In this section, we'll take a look at shell basics. When working within any shell, such as the Bash shell that we've just explored, commands that you enter have several basic parts. First, there's a command that you'll wish to run. There are many commands in Linux environments, and learning them will only take time. Every command can have many options that you can express to adjust the behavior of the command itself. And lastly, for each command, you'll need to supply the arguments for that specific command. Depending on the command that is being used, the type of arguments you'll supply will vary greatly. Once you know the name of a command you wish to run, you can supply additional options to alter its behavior. We express these options with using a dash or a dash syntax. Depending on whether you're using one or two dashes will depend on whether your option is a short form, such as the -a, or a long form, such as the --all option that we see here. Many options may be necessary to alter the behavior of a command to your liking. Once you've iterated through all the options necessary for your command, you'll then supply additional arguments. Oftentimes, these arguments are coupled with the particular option. Later on in the course, we'll take a look at how to explore command options by using their manual pages. But let's have a quick look at a simple command usermod within our own shell currently. If I were to simply enter the command usermod, it takes arguments and would, upon pressing enter, express all of the various options you may have available to you for that command. We can see that the -L argument will lock a user account. If we had a particular user account we wish to lock on this system and disable from usage, we could supply the command usermod, the L argument, and then supply the user whose account you wish to lock. That's an example of putting together a command, an option, and the arguments for that command. Now that you've seen a command put together with its options and argument, that covers the shell basics. In our next section, we'll take a look at logging into your systems.